Hello, everyone. I'm Samantha, and this is Many Parts YouTube channel. I was doing some journaling this morning, some writing in response to some prompts that someone else provided for me. And I had the inspiration to go live today and also to open something up to you around the theme of writing. So it's the 31st of August right now. Tomorrow will be Monday, the 1st of September. I love that September is starting on the 1st of the month. And of course, it's starting on the 1st of the month, but it's starting on the Monday on the 1st. And when was it? About a year ago, I published a Skillshare class, and it's a 7-day writing prompt journey. So I was thinking of doing this again myself from Monday till Sunday, doing 7 days of writing. And if you'd like to join me, please do. Whether you use the prompts that I provide, or whether you choose to use your own prompts, or just to use the time for yourself. Right, I am just everything here. Hello, everyone. I'm checking that you can see and hear me. I originally intended to go live at 5 and then experienced a few technical difficulties, and that's okay. We're going live now, talking about doing some writing from Monday to Sunday, 1st of September to 7th of September. I feel like having a little bit of guidance with me right now. So I sometimes use oracle cards. I've never really spoken about them on this channel. I do occasionally mention things, spiritual woo-woo things here. I feel like there's lots of different things that happen on this channel. To me, they make sense because they're all different parts that are within my awareness. And I like to share different tools, different modalities, different things I'm interested in. And when I feel like having some support with me and some guidance, I do like to work with these as well. I'm just going to pull one card. I'm using this Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray. And I really love being connected. And the idea of, those who have come before us or us right now being with us interesting. Okay. And I think they really do tell me exactly what's going on. Okay, so what's come up is hermit, retreat and recharge. Interesting. Okay, so retreat and recharge. And I'm choosing to go live and share things right now. So I think what's important to be aware for me and for everyone is this idea of not overgiving, not oversharing, and going and working with energies of as much as we can give. So, as I said, this idea came to me this morning. I'm kind of working in quite a inspired way right now. And I do feel like just popping in here and opening this up as something that I'm doing. And if you want to join in to do as well. And the idea of retreat and recharge, that has come up to me in terms of using writing. I mean, writing has really helped me get to know myself. I do have a couple of videos on this channel about that, or at least one where writing helped me get to connect to my voice. So as a child, it was something that I just naturally did and naturally would have and would write them down and would share them in response to being something that we need to do share at school. And whenever there was kind of attention or insight put on, I would disappear from from it, and I mean, I would go away and not want to share something that's been coming up for me this week, though, is the idea of generosity and sharing, whilst also being aware not to share and to be balanced in what I can give. And if I have an insight, it's there and open. And at the same time, let's probably something else then that is coming up for me in that idea is when I originally did this writing journey, my video is right now. I don't know if that's going on for you or not. Do, 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 do. So what came up for me originally, I'm just taking a look at these video, if I can see going on from another screen. Um, yeah, when I first did it, I did it in lockdown, in fact. So I had probably 5 years before then, maybe 10 years before now, had started writing with prompts to reconnect to my voice for many reasons. There was lots of things I felt like I wanted to express, and they just weren't coming out whenever I tried to do it. And I went along to a writing class, and the teacher introduced me to writing with prompts. And it had such a profound shift with me. And again, going back to the idea of retreat and recharge, it when I first started writing, it was very much for myself and, as I said, getting to know myself. And then I did start turning them to projects. I did share them more publicly. I made some theatre shows, made some short films. One of them is on this channel. If you want to take a look at it, ID please. And so I started writing with prompts, and I would do it in the classes with the teacher, and then I also would write for myself each day. So I made a commitment to myself again in what the teacher advised was to write down in a journal. I commit to writing for, and I would choose the amount of time, and I would choose the days I'd write on. So I remember commit to writing for 30 days on, and then I would go through my week and work out when I could do that. And at some point, I reckon I was doing it daily. And with this work, again, retreat and recharge, I never want to go into the idea of like productivity and this idea of like needing to do it to achieve something or needing to do it because I have to do it. It's more doing it from a place of what is my intention as to why I'm doing this. For me, it was that I wanted to express myself, and there were lots of creative ideas flowing around in my head and my heart. I wanted to, put out and mold. And I have found that since when I've done that, to look at something outside of me and then being able to go, ah, and it gives me insights. And then I started to realize that I could do that and share that with others as well. And I find connection through that. And regardless whether I'm sharing with others, sometimes I do that. I do still like to keep a practice for myself with writing. Now, when I say writing, I don't necessarily always mean having a pen and a paper and writing down. I have found that different techniques work for me. Like, for example, sometimes I will take a video camera, my phone, and I will just put on the record mode and I will speak to it. Sometimes, especially if I'm doing something that would be more, say, character based, and like I have these characters and stuff on this channel, so like that's kind of like how I comfortable create in that way. Otherwise, I would use a voice recorder as well. I find that helps. Sometimes typing helps. I personally find that like writing with a pen and paper, that's where I feel connected if I'm going to write in that sense. So this writing, I was going back to this retreat and recharge and doing what is manageable. So I did it for myself, and then during lockdown 2020, when we were all in our different spaces, I was doing quite a lot of writing myself. And again, I had this inspired idea to do 30 days of writing. I put it on a YouTube channel, and people joined in. It was featured on BBC Radio. And I got loads of benefits from it because I was using it myself as a warm-up technique because I was working on a live show at the time. And then um, I was like filming myself and doing it every day for 30 days. And it was too much for me. I burnt out. Like it just doesn't work with the rhythm of me and the way that I work. So when I revisited it, I wanted to revisit it and make it very, like contained and manageable for myself and also for others who were doing it, because it goes with my values to work in that way. So I turned it into 7-day writing on Skillshare, and within it, I included um, some ideas of, working with writing prompts and also working with when we come to write, what it is, like a way to help us set up our work, ways to also gather what we've written and reflect on it, and ways to then gather it and then turn it into a project in the end. So some systems in place. I'm smiling because, again, if you weren't here at the beginning, I drew this card called Hermit at the beginning of this live stream, and it's talking about retreat and recharge. So I'm just reflecting on how come that's come up when talking about doing a 7-day writing prompt journey. And I think it's a really great idea to be writing and working with it, although in a nurturing way for ourselves. And it can help us recharge so long as we're not putting too much energy out. And the Hermit as well is the archetype is to do with Virgo. The So I'm a Virgo rising. Virgo rising and Virgos, the archetype of the Virgo is associated with the Hermit. It can go in, it's to do with healing, it is to do with systems, it's to do with detail orientated. I know some people, the shadow side of it in, say, like mainstream astrology, people will be like, oh, Virgo, the perfectionist, or Virgo, they're so critical. That kind of the shadow side of it. Um, but also, they're people who can pick up on the details. They're the people who can go into that place to see everything that's going on. And so they can also come up with these systems of when it comes down to having this massive ideas of creativity that can come in with a way to hold and then put it out into the world if that's what you choose to do with it. So the opposite of Virgo, this has really turned into astrology. I know some people are just really not into it at all, and I know the main themes on this channel, there's not much of it. However, I'm going to keep going because it's what's coming through to me right now, and it's what I really do desire to talk about. Um, so the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. So as you know, there is 12 zodiac signs. They all are working on an axis. So we have 12, and then there's 6 on each side, and they're there to work with each other. They'll pick up on similar themes, but in different ways. So we have Virgo and Pisces. Pisces is creativity. It's the 12th sign of the zodiac. So it's a culmination of everything that's come before, and it's very much work with the full creative field. And then Virgo, we have on the other side, again, it brings up themes of healing, of this idea of going in intuitive. However, it also is the more kind of practical in this realm way. So it can help Pisces come with systems. I work, both energies are quite strong in my chart. So I work with the both of them. And for the collective right now, Pisces and Virgo are strong because the nodes of fate are in Pisces and Virgo at this time. So the nodes of fate are lined up the eclipses, and they change every 18 months. So we will always be all working with them before. So South Node is where we've come before, and is something that we're very well practiced in. We understand it. It also can bring up the shadow side. So, for example, as I said with Virgo, it could bring up that kind of tendency for perfectionism, that tendency for overcriticism. With Pisces, then it's in our North Node. Our North Node is where we're going to go, how we're going to bring in that new energy that we haven't quite experienced before. And we're going to be working with those two signs, the Virgo and the Pisces, to release from what's come before, but not fully let it go. We're going to use the benefits from Virgo, the wisdom that we've helped us embrace that new Pisces energy, that creative impulses we're coming from, that idea of working with collective spiritual inspiration. So that's that's some kind of background stuff that I've been kind of like taking a look at. And when I was considering this idea of, oh, okay, Monday the 1st of September until Sunday the 7th of September, to do 7 days of writing prompts and doing it in a very manageable way that is enjoyable. So it's not something that I am doing, or if you choose to do it, I would invite us not to go with the intention of it being like, I've got to produce this, so I've got some, something writing to go out into the world or something creative to go out into the world. It's more like what is coming through us, and then we'll see where we end up on that Sunday. And just a little bit more astrology here on that Sunday. We're going to be going into a culmination point, full moon in Pisces with an eclipse around that, 7th, 8th September. Tomorrow, Pisces goes backwards, retrogrades into Saturn, goes back into Pisces. Saturn is the boundary maker, so convener. So again, we have support in terms of the planet Saturn. They create a boundary for all this Piscean creative, collective, universal energy that's around. So the idea, my idea of when I thought, okay, let's go live and have a chat about this, and for 7 days to do this writing, is go into a little bit more Virgo mode here, right? Systems. Each day at 6:30 p.m. British Standard Time, British Summer Time. I'll go live for 30 minutes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a writing prompt, and I'm just going to write for 4 minutes with that prompt. I use it as a warm up for myself, and then I will spend the next, say, however long it is, 25 minutes, so 24 details, 26. I will then, I'm going to work on a project that I'm working on at the moment. So I'm working on a new series, Penny Finds Pennies. It's a video series that I plan to put on this channel. And I've filmed the first one. I'm in editing it at the moment. I've filmed the second one. I need to go into like the editing mode. And then I have a few more episodes that I'd like to script. So that's what I personally am working on. And I'm just opening this up as an offer that if you'd like to join me, either join me live at 30 GMT time each day, or you might choose a different time of the day where you work on your own writing, whether that's, personal writing and do a prompt and just writing for 4 minutes, or whether it's something again that you have a particular project that you're working on, you can turn up at that time and just use that time to write and work on it. If you'd like to, please, message and communicate with other people. It's nice, a community of people. Writing, as you know, can, at times it can be quite a solitary act, and it's nice to know that there's, other people also working on projects and having these ideas. And then my plan is to do it from Monday to Sunday, and then just see where I'm at on Sunday. And if you like doing that as well, see where you're at Sunday. Now, again, this is just like an open offer to turn up here, or watch the recording and use it at whatever time that you choose. And then I do have, as I said, I have a resource that can help if you feel like you want a prompt from someone else. My Skillshare class, if you're not a member of Skillshare, so if you are a member of Skillshare, of course, as you know, you'll have access to it. I'll put a link to it in this description and in the comment. If you're not, you can get a month free of Skillshare with the link that I put there. And then that gives you access to that class and also all the other classes on Skill. There's definitely other classes on there in writing and other creative fields, and lots of other fields not related to writing as well. Um, I personally find that writing, I don't know about you, but writing can really help with different creative fields anyway. Um, so my main background, professional background, is acting, and then when I started writing, it definitely helped me, I would say, as an actor, just tune more into storytelling. Um, However, I feel like I'm sure it can inform in many other ways. Something that I say that's my main idea. I think they go two together. As a child, I just was very into the writing idea of it. I just had a lot of fear when other people suddenly saw it, and I kind of closed myself down. And I closed myself down not just creatively, but also personally. I found that I was not really like just like in general life, I wasn't really expressing myself in my head on my own. I was. Um, And then when I started to write and I started to tell people, like tell friends and stuff, a lot of them were really shocked. And that was to handle. Although, I mean, I can also see it, I can kind of see it from that perspective. I mean, in my head, I maybe had a different view of myself, although like now reflecting on it, I guess I just see that maybe because I wasn't expressing myself as much as was channeling through me. I guess, like if that's how people found it, they did find it like that. 'Cause it's really important though, isn't it, that like others have that opinion of us to really not take that on. Um, I personally think that, we've all got really unique perspectives. We've all lived completely different lives, even if it's, maybe slightly similar to someone else. If we grew up in a similar way or a similar place or similar life experiences, they're all still going to have their own answers to them. They're all still going to be fascinating to someone else. And whether we're using it to then like create and put it out professionally, or whether we're using it just to kind of like really get to know ourselves, then that can end up going to more depth with others. Because as you know, the more we know ourselves, the more we can be ourselves with others, and that's always going to open up relationships, and that's always going to open up more joy to life. I have realized that I had this cup of cacao and it's gone cold now. That's okay. Didn't have a sip of it, and I'm just thinking I'm gonna head off in a moment, and I would love to know if you're interested in doing like the idea of writing for say like 4 minutes a day, 4 minutes up to half an hour a day. Do comment on this video if you'd like to. But yeah, just before I go, as I said, I do have some resources as well about like some ideas I've come across from other teachers or from my own experience of when I come to write, creating a space that feels nourishing to do that in, to create in a way that feels healthy. Again, going back to this idea of retreat charge. There's so much, for so long, kind of this idea of, like the troubled artist, and I don't mean to mock it in that way, but it very much was an idea within society and culture that in order to get to those places, we have to really struggle, and I personally just don't think that is the case. I mean, I think a lot of amazing art comes from those stories, from those places where we've gone, ah, that hurt. and then taking that and then turning it into something. Is it Carrie Fisher said? Take my broken art and make it art and then transform it. But I think when in the creative process, I don't think it's necessary to put ourselves through that. And for a long time, I thought it was. And for a long time, I resisted going into a more healthy lifestyle because I was really concerned of losing my edge. And I feel a bit, a bit silly saying my edge because right now I don't really think I seem so like, like that. But so like 10, 15 years ago, whatever, I was, I was there. And when I was in that troubled place, I found it really hard to create. Like, I found it hard to connect to what was going on and how to put that into a place that could explain it to others, like take all those experiences, especially because I was kind of like going through it. So I think that's also something to be like really mindful of when creating, like if something feels too much or too edgy, um, to really take that idea of like, actually, is what I need now to read free and recharge? Do I need to use this in this way? Because I just never think that we need to like hurt ourselves for sake of something. Like really, again, the Hermit Virgo archetype, the archetype of it is health and well-being. And we're in Virgo season right now, as well as having the South Node there. So when we're in this creative mode, just I think to be really mindful of that. And what prompted me to say it was, just things like setting up your space in a way that feels very nourishing. And and just trusting again, that Pisces idea of like trusting and knowing that we have things to let things come through us rather than make it up, let it come through. I mentioned that in one of the videos that I have in that Skillshare class. I also think a couple of videos are on this YouTube channel as well. How to work with prompts, and things like how to create your space. Like maybe I remember a teacher saying to me, you're getting a journal specifically for this, for your prompt writing, for a particular project, like having a journal, and as we have a container, then we have a container for things to flow through. Like, so yesterday, I've moved house recently, like 3 weeks ago. I signed on it a month ago tomorrow, and I've been here for 3 weeks. And I'm still kind of like in the mode of unpacking. And I have this vase. I unpacked this vase a bit up yesterday on my windowsill, and I had a friend come and visit me, and she came with a bunch of flowers, and and I was just like, oh, look, see, you put a container there, you have something ready, and then like things naturally flow in place. So again, I think rather than torturing ourselves, just allow things to come. And I do feel that writing with prompts is an amazing way to do that because it just gives you something to respond to. It gives you, yeah, it gives you an idea, and then your idea is going to be different to anyone else that's written because it's your experience, your beautiful, valid experience. And whether that is something that has come from a tough place, whether that is something of, like feeling in a joyful place, you guys are welcome. We're going together. They all go together. Again, it's that contrast that I was discussing before. Those, the polarities, whether that be in an archetypal sense, like the Pisces and the Virgo, or whatever it is, the shadow and the light, they all come together and ultimately are there to transform. And I'm interested to see within these 7 days, writing from Monday until Sunday, just what happens, just as an experiment with no expectations. And I'm sure you are, of course, you're already aware that with any form of creativity, not having expectations, having intentions, the idea of, oh, this is my idea. You may have a project in mind of, oh, this is the project that I would like to work on, and then just allowing whatever it is to flow in. So thank you so much for tuning in and being with me on this Sunday evening. Whatever time it is for you. If you're going to join in, for the Monday to Sunday, or you can start at any time. Do pop a comment in, just say hi, and I hope you enjoy whatever you're going to do next. Thank you.